To start with, try this at home.
Try this at home. Try this at home.
Right, so try this at home. We're going to try the floaty arm experiment. You might have tried this in the past in your playgrounds or with your parents might have tried this years ago. And what you need to do is either work with a partner or stand in a door frame. And what you need to do is one person stand with their arms by their sides. I know you kind of only see the top half of my body, but I'm standing like to attention. And the other person either stands or sits in front of them so you're facing each other. And what you need to do is put your arms by your sides, the person standing up, and you need to try and push your arms out like you're trying to lift them up into the air. But the other person is going to put their hands on their hands and try and push you back in. And you've got to kind of keep your arms by your side, but you've got to put that tension on and keep on pushing against the resistance of the person. If you're in a door frame, you just want to kind of stand in the middle and push your arms out to the sides of the doors and just push your arms out and push really hard against the door frame for 30 seconds, okay? After those 30 seconds, just relax your arms down, take the pressure off, and then just lift your arms very gently, and your arms should feel like they are lifting up into the air, okay? That is called the floaty arm experiment. If you want to try it on one arm, you can stand next to a wall, and you can also try and push your arm into a wall, just one arm, and do it with one arm, and one arm will feel like it's floating off into the air as well. So you can try it with a partner, in a door frame, or standing next to a door. All right, that's try this time. We're going quick fire tonight, okay? If you are going to try that, let me know in the chat this week or next week if you tried it. I can see a few people are watching. Let us know who's watching in the chat, give you a shout out as well. So let's go and have a look. What we do next, we're going to have a look at this one here. We're going to look at when medicine got it wrong.
When medicine got it wrong.
And we're going to look at something called a lobotomy. What is a lobotomy? Well, it's when we want to try and break some brain connections in our brain. And this was developed to try and help people that we thought had overactive brains or had medical or mental health conditions like schizophrenia. We thought if we could try and break some of the neural connections in people's brains, it would remove those conditions and calm them down. Okay, so this is kind of like a really kind of intense kind of bit of medical procedure because we're actually going to go into the brain and try and break some of those connections. But how do we break some of those neuronal connections? Well, what we might do is something like this. Oh, look at this, a massive spike up through the nose into the frontal cortex, the front of your brain, okay? That says, that's kind of what we're doing here. So we're trying to break the neurons in someone's frontal cortex. And it worked, you know, this worked. It actually stopped people being what we used to term as being crazy. It just made people that had lots of kind of overactive brains or conditions like schizophrenia or they were classed as being insane, it kind of removed all of those symptoms. But the problem was that frontal part of your brain is pretty important like all the other parts. And if you damage it to try and stop one thing, you're going to damage it and stop other things as well. So the front part of your brain, okay, is really important for your personality, kind of your planning ability, your future thinking and social skills. So if you can't remove all of those, you have no personality. You can't really think about what you're going to do in the future. So if you are going, oh, I wonder what I'm going to do for my tea tonight, you won't be able to think that far ahead. Or where do you want to go on holiday? Let's think. We go to there in August. You won't be able to plan and organise your life. That's kind of like a really important thing. And then social skills, you learn kind of, you unlearn the ability to kind of interact with people and understand facial emotions and the tone of someone's voice. And if someone's angry or if someone's happy or if someone's sad, you lose all of your ability to process that type of information. So it is partly an interesting and good thing initially, but it had lots and lots of really bad side effects, like this here. And we didn't learn this from what I'm going to show you next, but there's a really famous case of seeing all of these things change in a person by accident. Okay, you might have done this at school. It was with a chap called Phineas Gage, and this was kind of in the late 1800s. He was like in a mine, and there was an explosion, and a big iron rod fired through his kind of face. You can kind of see that skull picture there, where it came out in someone's head, in that skull's head, in Phineas's head, and it went all the way through, and it destroyed his frontal cortex, but he survived. But straight after, well, like in the months afterwards, all of those things that we mentioned here had happened to him. So he lost the ability to have like a future thinking and planning. He had no personality, he had no social skills, and it gave us a little bit of insight into what this was part of. However, this kind of accident had no kind of bearing on how we developed lobotomies. It's just a chance thing that happened that allowed us to kind of understand a bit about what goes on in the brain, but it had no impact on our ability to think about and develop the kind of procedure called lobotomy. It was developed kind of a good kind of 70, 80 years later, after experiments on primates, on animals. Apologies, vegetarians. But yeah, that's kind of a lobotomy. I don't think they're carried out too much now. They might be in really severe cases, but yeah, it's not like a really kind of well-known or well carried out procedure nowadays. Okay, I can see we've had some comments in the chat. Yes, we've got Isabella's back. Hello, Isabella. It was lovely to see you the other day at Medic Fest. I hope your mum still got her magic syringe pen. Those are kind of be like gold dust very soon. Yeah, so we've got, is that Abby? I can't read that in my forehead. Hello, Abby. Hello to your daughter. Hello. We've got, yeah, Amanda, lovely stuff. We've got Isabel and then Abby's daughter on. Hello. Right, what should we have a look at? Hello, back. You see you saying hi now. What should we look at next? Let's have a look at how medical kit works.
How medical kit works.
Okay, so today we're going to have a look at something called, in fact, I'm going to go back to my main cam. We've got Charlotte. Hello, Charlotte. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming along. We're going to look at how one of these work, a peak flow. Now, I know Isabella will be an expert in one of these. She used one of these at Medic Fest this week, and they're really common, and they're used with asthmatics to monitor their condition, or anyone with a respiratory condition, okay? Now, when someone uses a peak flow, technically, they should do it every single day, because it's not just like a one-off thing to see how someone's lungs are working. We should do it every single day and plot our results on a chart that looks like this, okay? So we do a morning one and an evening one. And the way we do the test is we put our kind of tube in here, and we take a deep breath and we blow as hard as we can into the tube. You should have a nose peg on as well, like this, and we go like that, and we get a score. We do 2 or 3 tries. I got 460. I'm not very good at this one. 450. Okay, so I got 450. So I would go to my chart and I would put on here little mark. Monday night, 450. But what could happen is if we plot them and go along, you might get like a drop. You can see right in the middle there, a score might drop all the way down, just randomly. And that tells us that someone's airways are closing up and they can't push as much air out of their lungs and get a good score on the peak flow, so it's dropped. And this might tell us that that person is susceptible to an asthma attack. So we want to give them some medication to kind of open their airways up. And you can see there the graph goes boink, it goes straight back up, maybe even above the kind of normal level that we can see kind of over here. Okay, this is kind of the normal line over here. And then it drops and it goes all the way up above where it was before, okay? So we should do this every day to monitor and see if our normal scores drop, and that tells us, oh, our lungs might be susceptible to an asthma attack. So why does something like asthma make these scores go down? Well, there's a really cool bit of physics involved here. Okay, I can see some questions in the chat. I'll come back to you in a minute. Okay, we've got something called Poiseuille's law. Can you say that? Poiseuille's law. And that's the formula there. Don't worry, we're not going to do anything with that and plug any numbers in. But essentially, if you plug the numbers into that mathematical formula there, what happens? Well, what that tells us is that if you halve the diameter of a tube, it gets 16 times harder to get through it. Okay, so if we halve the diameter of a tube, 16 times harder to get through it. So your airway, guess what, is a tube. Your trachea here, and it goes into your bronchioles and your bronchus and your bronchioles. They're all tubes as well. So if we start to clog those up with some mucus, some swelling, maybe some constriction so they get tighter, these airways are going to get narrower and narrower. And some of our smallest airways are only like 0.5 millimetre or 1 millimetre wide. So you only need a little bit of mucus in there, and already you've kind of narrowed that down to half, and you've got 16 times more effort or to get through that tube. Think about drinking a drink through a straw. Next time you do that, get a straw, suck the drink through, and then squeeze the straw slightly. So you can still let some drink through, but when you suck on the straw and you're squeezing it, you've got to do it with more force. So it's really hard to get that drink through. That's the kind of same principle here. Okay, so what do we do to try and get that score back up? We want to try and reverse this. We want to try and open up those airways, and we can do that with drugs like salbutamol. And we're going to do maybe look at how salbutamol does this, maybe in one of our weeks of Monday Night Medicine, okay? But salbutamol helps open up our airways really, really quickly. And I can see in the chat, what do we got? We've got Isabella has asthma, so I'm betting you, Isabella, have got a blue inhaler, okay? I can see Isabella's got control of your phone. So the blue inhaler helps us open up our airway, okay? But the brown one is called a corticosteroid, okay? It's a steroid. And what that does is it helps dampen down our immune system. It stops our immune system in our lungs working as well as it should, because all of these things here that you can see, they're all triggered by our immune system. So if we can turn our immune system down a little bit, like turning the volume down on a stereo, we can make them go a bit quieter, this up here is less likely to happen. So you might take the brown inhaler every day just to kind of turn the immune system down every day, and you take the blue one when you feel tight or your airways are kind of getting really tight and restricting the air getting into your lungs. It's pretty cool, isn't it, how this little piece of kit can lead to telling us which kind of types of medicine we need to use. And the unit of measurement on here, okay, is something called litres per minute. So if I did this for a whole minute, I would have pushed out 450 litres of air. Now that's impossible. My lungs don't have 450 litres. They have about 5. Okay, but if I did that for a whole minute, that's how many litres of air would come out of my lungs. Okay, so if we narrow our airways, that score drops, and we know we need to take a blue inhaler. I can see what we call more comments and questions. What we got on here? So we've got Charlotte's little brother has a blue inhaler and a yellow spacer. Oh, nice. So that helps. That kind of spacer helps get the medicine and the salbutamol into the lungs more effectively, because just shooting it kind of straight into the mouth, it can just stick in the back of your throat and not get into your lungs. We want it to go really deep into your lungs. So that spacer just helps the salbutamol get right deep into the lungs and open up those airways. Interestingly, salbutamol acts like adrenaline that we release from our own body. And if you release adrenaline, things like your heart will go faster, you might get a bit shaky, your muscles start to kind of just get a bit twitchy and shaky. So if you take a blue inhaler and ever feel like your heart's going faster or you feel a bit shaky, that's because the salbutamol is now in your bloodstream and having the same effect as adrenaline. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Isabella, so most children should probably have a spacer, yes, because obviously you've got to get the right technique. And you might not have the right coordination to kind of spray and kind of breathe in the drugs into your lungs, okay? So a spacer helps you do that a little bit more safely and effectively, okay? So where are we now? Oh yeah, I know you're going to love this one. We're going to look at what are you looking at?
What a ride! What about? What are you looking at? What are you looking at?
Oh, here we go. Hello. I'm going to duck down because I forgot to edit my camera. So, what are we looking at? This picture is an ultrasound, okay? And if you look very closely, I mentioned on an ultrasound before, anything black on an ultrasound is liquid, okay? Anything black on an ultrasound is liquid. Now, Isabella might have looked at the blood vessels in her neck before. It's not a blood vessel, Isabella, if you're thinking, oh, it looks like what we did at Medic Fest. If you look kind of up here, there's a scale, and that says from 0 to, is it 15? Yeah, 0 to 15. And that is in centimetres. So this is quite deep into our body. It's like that far into our body. Okay, we're looking. So it's quite a big structure that's kind of full of liquid. There's a clue. What do you think? What do you think, Charlotte? What do you think, Isabella? What do you think this is? Have a little guess. Something round that's full of liquid. We have to look quite, well, not, it's like, you can see it's fairly close to the surface, but it is quite big. Oh, so Isabella's gone bladder. What do you think, Charlotte? Yeah, you've gone bladder as well. Nice, okay. You're both correct. And I've got a little video to show you where this picture was taken on. Take a look at this. I hope the sound plays. Let me know if it is. We're in the bathroom at Chateau Wazza, and just down by the toilet there, we've got the ultrasound machine all set up, ready to have a look at my bladder when I have a wee. Okay, we're all set up. I've got the probe, it's all gelled up. I'm just going to put it on my abdomen, point it down. There we go, there's my bladder. And let's have a wee. There you go, see my bladder there. Smaller and smaller. Until you can't see it anymore. There you go. That was me having a wee so you can see my bladder empty on the live stream. It's pretty cool, isn't it? It's all fun and games in my house. We do all kinds of stuff, all this kind of stuff all the time. So yeah, you can see, you were both right. It was a bladder, that big circle there was my bladder full of wee, and I was having a wee. You could see it getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. Now that's a real test that we can do on someone's bladder, and we can check the size, the shape, the volume, how much wee's in there. We can check how quickly someone's bladder empties, because that's important. We can check if their bladder completely empties or if they leave a little bit in there, and that can be dangerous because it can cause kind of infections and things like that. And it can also look for lumps and bumps and tumours as well and help us identify those kind of conditions there. Yeah, it is pretty amazing, isn't it? So that is a really cool test that you can do with an ultrasound. You both got it right. Won't miss a week. Thanks for watching Monday Night Medicine, and we'll see you all again very soon. Thanks so much. Bye.
Monday medicine, Monday night medicine.